Episode 9 of Ted Lasso was titled All Apologies. After a series of mistakes on the pitch, pressure mounts to bench Roy. Rebecca finally reveals the truth to Ted. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with my weekly recap, breakdown, and review of the latest episode of Apple TV Plus, Ted Lasso, episode 9, titled All Apologies. A very emotional episode, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to break it down in this spoiler discussion. Before we dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. That way, you can stay up to date with what's going on over here at Movie Files, as well as get some of my latest my insight on some of the latest movie and TV news out there. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Definitely subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other Apple TV Plus reviews, other TV show reviews, movie reviews, live streams, and all the fun things we do on this very channel. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. And in the comments below, we've been having such a great journey watching this show together, and I just thank you all for watching these videos, but also commenting your thoughts on the latest episode, episode 9 here. Let me know your pros, your cons, and ladies and gentlemen, we got 1 week left of this fantastic, such an underrated show of Ted Lasso. So let's have some great discussions in the comments below. So yeah, man, overall thoughts, it wasn't like this show was all about the comedy since the beginning, but this last back half of this season has been so emotional, and it's earned emotions. It's not like manufactured emotions. It's not like they're forcing the emotions. I actually care for these characters, all of the characters, from Rebecca to Keely to Roy to the team, obviously Ted Lasso and his situation. So this show has just been clicking on all cylinders, and I've been talking to you all about it in the comments, man. This show is so underrated. I don't know, outside of myself, I don't know that many people that are talking about this show on a weekly basis, and this is just, we got the season 2 announcement, and I have just been so pleasantly surprised with this show. And like I said, we got 1 episode left. But before we get into the finale next week, as my dog drops his toy, we are going to talk about episode 9, starting off with this recap. We see that Roy, hasn't been playing well these last, I think they said 9 games, and I'm thinking to myself, does this have anything to do with Keely? But no, they didn't go that route. It has to do with Roy just getting older in age, man. It happens. Father time is undefeated, especially in sports, right? So we see that he's kind of down and out, and of course Ted Lasso picks him up and give him a little bit of word of encouragement, but they have their little stumbles between the two throughout this episode, which we'll talk about. But like I said, the biggest thing about this episode is Roy really kind of coming to acceptance of him getting a little bit older, and he's not as skillful as he used to be in his young age. But as we move forward, Ted brings he brings up Higgins, and Keely kind of walks in, because we see Ted and Rebecca kind of talking to each other, and Keely asks to talk to Rebecca privately and brings up you need to discuss what you've been doing to Ted. You need to tell him the truth about what you've been doing. So again, this whole premise of this episode is about apologizing, and that's what we get here. So we kind of move forward. We see Coach Beard and Nate suggest that Roy needs to be benched. Again, the last 9 games has been turnovers, has been making mistakes, as he just hasn't been as sharp as he used to be. Again, Father Time is undefeated, guys. So they suggest that, but Ted is like, no, I'm not doing it, man. It's just about team morality. He's a coach. He's not the coach. He's the captain of the team. I can't do this right now, this part of the season, because we all know Ted's thing is, and we talk about it in this episode here, it's more about the life lessons versus the winning. And we'll get to that scene, which caught me completely off guard. But as we kind of move forward, we see the moment of truth. Rebecca's starting to plant the seeds to try to tell Ted about the truth, about her sabotaging this whole situation, about hiring him, about the photo, about everything, right? But she just can't do it, guys. She's procrastinating and making up, talking about that word procrastination and all that stuff. And she just ultimately doesn't tell him about the truth. And as she kind of gathers her strength to do so, she's walking towards the door as Ted does the whole rewind joke. And lo and behold, it's our good old pal Rupert, who comes to tell, Rebecca some news. He drops the bomb on her that him and Rebecca 2.0 are expecting a baby. And not only that, but as Rebecca points out, well, you said you never wanted kids. And he tells her, man, that had to hurt, man. And you just saw the emotion in her eyes when he says, yeah, I didn't want to have a kid, but I didn't want to have a kid with, he doesn't say you, but, that was going to be his next words. And, he's just like, oh, I just want to tell you first before the tabloids got a hold of it. And you just see Rebecca just holding in those tears, which I just, again, We all know Rebecca's done some despicable things in regards to sabotaging the team and sabotaging Ted and hiring Ted in the first place, knowing he wasn't really necessarily qualified. But I still felt for her in this moment. And I felt like, again, I love these characters, so I feel for all of them when they're going through these tough times. So, as we kind of move forward, after she gets that news, she womans up and goes to Ted's office and tells him the truth about the sabotaging him the whole time. And, I'm thinking, I knew in the back of my mind, like, Ted's not going to explode like a normal person would, because Ted isn't normal in the best way possible. He's such a loving and caring person in this show, but after she tells him the truth, good old classic Ted fashion, man, he forgives her because he knows what it's like to go through the divorce. After Rebecca tells him why she kind of did what he did in regards to making Rupert, jealous and destroying the one thing he really cares about, he just admits that he knows that, when you're going through divorce, you're willing to do crazy things, as we've seen with Ted doing, right? He probably normally wouldn't have a one-night stand with Sissy and doing all the stuff that he's done when he's, snapping on Nate, the one episode when they're in Liverpool and stuff like that. So they definitely have more to relate to. Ted tries to shake Rebecca's hand, but in a really nice moment, Rebecca slaps that hand away and gives him a hug, which was a really nice emotional moment. We see that Coach Beard and Nate are continuing to be on the page of benching Roy as they're ignoring Coach Lasso in practice. Ladies and gentlemen, we see, in that moment, Roy is not playing good. He's not having a good practice. He's getting old. It's just the point of the matter. It's just the fact of the matter. So Ted attempts to tell Roy the news, and Roy kind of sees where the conversation is headed. He snaps on, Ted Lasso in the middle of their kind of conversation because he knows he feels betrayed by Ted. And we'll talk about them a little bit in a little bit here. But Rebecca visits, this new looking goatee, Higgins, and she apologizes to him. Again, this whole episode is about apologizing, as we see with all of our characters here. As we kind of move forward, Roy goes to Keeley for some advice about him not just being a soccer player, but being in love with soccer his whole life and how important it is to him to play soccer and he sees himself only as a soccer player and nothing else. And in another great emotional moment, we see Keeley calls over Roy's niece, and she tells him about the things that she loves, which isn't the soccer player, it's her uncle, which was, again, another emotional, great moment. And then a moment that I did not see coming is Coach Beard exploding and snapping on Ted Lasso when he says, he's like, no, I'm not going to bench him. He's going to play this Sunday or play against Manchester. And then he's like, it's never been about winning for us, right? It's about the life lessons. And he slaps his hand on the table and says, no, it's about the winning, which, Coach Beard does have a point. It's a mixture of the two, right? I'm not a coach or anything, but I follow a lot of sports. And as I mentioned, not a football follower or soccer player, but, basketball and football. I grew up playing those two sports. And it is about life lessons, but it's also about winning. Winning helps and cures a lot of things in regards to the team morality. So Coach Beard kind of puts him on Front Street, man, says, no, we need to win. These aren't college boys about learning to become men. These are already men in professional sports. So they need to not only learn lessons, but they also need to win at the same time. So a very interesting moment, to say the least. And we see him, kind of a mic drop moment as he walks out and takes the girl with him. But I think, Ted kind of took that back, man, and he's drinking and about to get hit by a car, and he's saved by Roy. And a really nice moment here. They kind of bond, and I love this joke because I am such a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan. And when they bring up the switching in Aunt Valerie, I don't know if you guys watch Aunt Val, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they made a switch of these characters in one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, and I just love that reference. But again, you get this heart-to-heart moment, and Roy starts to rethink his options moving forward as a soccer player, but again, apologizing to Ted about snapping on him. As we kind of wrap up the episode, we see they're getting ready for practice, and Roy's running a little bit late. He talks about the whole vibrator situation with his niece, which was hilarious, but he says to the team, the second team's going to kick the first team's ass in practice, alluding to him accepting his position on the bench and being kind of a role player, not the star player anymore, which was a great moment of him accepting. Again, Father Time is undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. But man, wrapping up this review here, this recap and breakdown, what an emotional episode. Again, it was about apologizing, Rebecca apologizing to Ted, Roy apologizing to Ted, Coach Beard and Nate approaching Coach Lasso about benching Ted. So it's just a lot of stuff going on here, which I'm really loving. Again, this show is funny. This show has great characters. It is such an underrated written script. The script is really strong and really sharp and really fresh and unique in a certain extent. But it's these characters and their emotional moments, man, that's really, really making me love this show. And like I said up top, guys, this has been the biggest surprise for 2020 for me for shows, because I'm just so impressed by how much I love this show. So again, one episode left. All apologies. Again, a great episode in my opinion, but who knows where things are going to wrap up for season 1. And obviously, like I said a couple weeks ago, we had season 2, so looking forward to that. But man, it's 9 for 9 yet again for me in this show. But let me know what you all thought about this latest episode of Ted Lasso, your pros, your cons, and what do you expect to see in next week's finale? I would love to know you guys' thoughts. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Again, thank you all for watching this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you on the finale of Ted Lasso next week.